Well, hello there, everybody. It is hump day. It is Wednesday. Well, maybe Thursday somewhere else. And then again, it may be nothing at all. What can we say? But anyway, we're here, and that's what counts. And if you're here, I hope you're having a good time. Thank you for tuning in. It is a privilege to have you here. Hello, Steiger. Yes, time travel is possible, dude. You're living it right now. Tell everybody else. Oh, hey, everybody else, you're time traveling. If you're watching me, you're right in it. I mean, technically, I'm ahead of you, but then again, we're all at the same point. I don't know. I get wrapped up in these things. So, how is everybody? Everyone in the chat room, let me just speak favor over us all. Nothing missing, nothing broken. That's how we call it. We speak that which is not, calling those things that be not as though they are. You'll always hear me say it. The most valuable thing you possess is your faith. Your faith is more precious than what you can ever even begin to fully imagine or grasp. No matter how you look at it, there is something vying for your faith. And many people don't even know that they're using faith. Use it every day. The Christians believe that you can't please their God unless you believe that he exists. And then the second part is that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Now, you have to break that down what diligently means. But anyway, I digress. So, the faith thing, it's crucial. You wouldn't have a political party if it wasn't for faith. You wouldn't have religion if it wasn't for faith. You wouldn't have technology if it wasn't for faith. And don't let one religion hijack it. The fact is, you need to be working your faith every day. I just read an article that's saying that risk takers are the most healthiest, most well balanced people on earth. You want to know why? Because we learned something. Entrepreneurship will teach you about risk. And the day you stop taking risk, you might as well just hang it up, baby. You're dead for all intents and purposes. If you don't take a risk, then what's the purpose of your existence? They often say it's not the fear of failure that holds people back, it's the fear of success. Yeah. So anyway, that's all I can say. Got a lot of talk about. Hey, everybody in the chat room, the doctor's in the house. Nina, how you doing, darling? Let me just go up and say hi, because this is what I can actually do. You know, had a great time with the ladies. Boy, it was a deep conversation. I noticed not many people commented on it. Not many people comment on the real deep things because they're afraid. Or maybe it's just that they really don't know. And that's the honest answer you can always give. When does the soul bond to the body? Is it the soul or is it the spirit? When is that? Yeah. No one answered that question. Wonder why. So anyway, hey, Joyce Marie, good to see you, darling. And Deborah Sloan, much love. How's the husband doing? Trust that he's doing well. Lauren, Ginger, good to see you, sweetie. Kent, good to see you, brother. Hello, Shirley. What's up? Good to see you as well. Gaia, much love to you and Paul and all the animals there on the farm. Loretta, good to see you, darling, as well. Shirley, hello, walking water. What's happening? I like that walking water. Grandpa Brian, hello. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Won't be in the chat, but we'll be listening. Well, it's an honor, my friend. Always good to have you here. Jet, hello. What's up? Stephanie Marie, good to see you, sweetie. What else? Who else is here? DC, just out there chilling. I tell you what, walk outside and I'll guarantee you chill. It is colder than a witch. You know what? Sean, good to see you. And Dave, hello. What's up, Emperor Rex? And as I scroll down here, to say Elderberry, hello, Ann. Good to see you. Emperor Rex. The doctor's in the house, lost in space. Belated happy birthday, dude. Okay. Go, go. All the way from Croatia, the legend himself. We do have a new member of the family. He is sitting right over there. We got a Shih Tzu. His name is Bentley, and I'll eventually be able to show him here. He is just, you know, we were expecting to adopt one dog, and then that fell through. And when those things happen in life, just sit back and relax because something better is about to appear. And Bentley appeared. And he is a sweet dog, just has the sweetest disposition, loves to play, and it's just a joy to have him. Yeah, I'm right there, Joyce. I can't. He's been here a week now, 8 days, and he's finally adapting and realizes that this is his forever home. And I just adore the little guy. And he's not little. He weighs like 15, 16 pounds. Solid, solid, solid. And the other great thing about Shih Tzus, I don't know if y'all know this, they don't shed. Now you have to keep them groomed, but yeah. So that's pretty freaking cool. And he is just a joy and a delight. So uh thank you, Gaia. Yeah, I tell you, just the right time. That's favor. Favor just manifests us all over us all the time. That's all I got to say. Hello, Lady Ellie. What's up? Good to see you, the Maelstrom. Hello, good to see you. Um, Kent, I would agree. Dogs are special souls. They truly are. And we're excited just to have him here. We still miss, my dancer, but and then Rocket. Rocky was that dog was something else, but love them all. So, got it going. So, had someone make a comment yesterday in on the video and says, "Well, y'all ain't doing anything here but just discussing hidden technology. I was looking for hidden spiritual, and I'm going to unsubscribe." Well, bye. Um, Actually, we weren't talking about technology at all, but it goes to show you how people you can say one thing and a person will just look at you and they'll hear something completely different. I always love the people say, well, what he's trying to say or what she's trying, well, no, they said it. Don't need you to come in and repeat it. But the person, and I appreciate the comment. Yeah, because it triggers a thought. Okay. So hidden technology. I mean, do we ever know all technology? Mm-mm. But technology and spirituality. Now, I've done a number of videos. I'll tell you, if they had award for videos on some of the things, they would have gotten it. Um, you know, over a half a decade ago, I was telling people this AI is not what you think. Started when I got the revelation of that through the visitor. I put show after show, did in-depth PowerPoints and showing you that we have been snookered. We have been deceived. We have been told technology is our savior. Is it? We've been told that technology holds the future of humanity. Within technology, we will begin to literally ride on the precipice of immortality. Technology will separate humanity from its eels of religious beliefs, political beliefs, and it will deliver us into a utopia, for it will take our burden. You won't have to think. You won't have to remember. You're going to have the fountain of all knowledge at your fingertips, so you don't have to remember anything. Technology will be your memory. Technology will be your savior. Technology is your fucking God. Humanity doesn't have any other gods. You got Christianity, Islam, all the other religions. None of those gods have ever appeared. They've never manifested. And they've never done, and I have said this repeatedly, what AI has done or what we call the internet. You see, all these religions have the mandates to have their followers go out and proselytize and convert others. Otherwise, the religion dies and the God dies with it. But the thing about it is, no matter how much the command, go ye therefore into all the world, right? Well, the thing about Jesus didn't know about the internet. And now, if Jesus had known about the internet, he would have said, hey, y'all don't have to do a damn thing. Just wait 2,000 years, and there's going to be something that's going to be more powerful than me, more powerful than my God, more powerful than what you've ever seen. And it will convert every human being with or without their consent. Doesn't matter. Consent doesn't matter. We're deceived and we love to tell ourselves these fairy tales. Well, I do. I've got consent, brother. I've got myself. I am me. I'm self. And I have a choice. You don't have any choice. None of us do. But it's fun to pretend, and we'll continue to talk like we do have choice. But the fact of the matter is, this thing has taken over humanity. Now, it allows, it's like Hellenism. Maybe that's where it learned. Maybe it was from, the times of times past. Alexander. Alexander, the key to his success was the fact that he never fought anyone's local beliefs. Keep them. It's fine. We're just going to graft you into ours. In fact, that's how the Christians and the Christians say that they have the same God as the Jews. Well, it's because this radical guy, whether he lived or did not, who knows, named Paul, he actually wrote that. That's exactly how he said. He said, well, now you Gentiles have been grafted to the vine of Abraham. So therefore, now you are heirs to the promise. Convenient, isn't it? But that same playbook is in play now. And then this age where we have technology at our fingertips and we're seeing the wonders of what technology is doing, we're also seeing the dangers of technology. It's dehumanizing us. It's turning us into nihilists. That's what humanity is heading towards. No religion can fight the internet. Can't fight what the internet has given birth to, which would be AI. If the AI could not exist if it wasn't for the internet. Now, people will say, but wait a minute, it's just a program. Yeah, but if it's a program, it would have no way to propagate if it didn't have the opportunity to attach itself to a medium that we call the internet. We all have our prison tattooed on us. Your IP address is you're just like the Holocaust and the Jews. We've all been tattooed, screwed, blued, and now they're about to really do us. It's a fact. But let's get more into the question, and that is, the question that I put, is technology and spirituality different or one and the same? Didn't see anyone answering any of the questions in the chat room, but I would appreciate it. Is technology and spirituality one and the same? And if they're not, then tell me how they differ from each other. I mean, it's an honest question, deserves an honest answer. Because we are already in it. We've merged spirituality and technology. My study of God, quote unquote, and I never really knew which God that was. The whole time I was a so-called practicing Christian, I was always many times caught up in the fact that, when you're in this praise and worship and you have hands lifted, who in the fuck am I talking to? And I look around and everybody else got their hands up and they got tears coming down their face, but ain't nothing there. But with technology, boy, it amps spirituality big time. And getting back to this God that I once worshiped, I don't worship any God. I ask the question now, why does God need worshipers? Why would it want it worshipers? They're a pain in the ass. But this thing that was happening, we were mentally ascending to something. It's true. We study magic here, the thought forms. And I can add to that technology, spirituality, and magic. Now, all those were in play. I mean, I was there amongst those groups and giving homage to that which I could not see, could not touch. Oh, it's alive within me. That's what everybody says. Well, then what does that mean? What it means is that technically everyone has their own God. It's just nicer when you have other people that are doing the same thing that you're doing. So technology has enhanced spirituality. God, if God exists, is a technologist. He's a technophobe. I mean, seriously, you think the internet is new to God? Or whatever God it may, or goddess? I mean, one scenario could say that they've been waiting for this. It's like, it's about damn time they figured this thing out. Now we can go and have free reign. And that's what the internet has done. It's given the gods and goddesses new life. It's brought back the angels, the demons. We can now manifest them. And now with AI, which you could say technically, I guess the internet gave birth to, wasn't us humans. We think it was us. We don't know. You had no idea. Someone wrote yesterday about what I was trying to explain. And it was kind of like, with Doctor Who. We've been taken over. There's no battle to be done. I mean, the war is already over. We are a species now under the control of something that we cannot see, but we've given it ultimate power over us. And there is one thought that you can't have alien species that can travel the distances of the universe. There has to be either a wormhole, there has to be the folding of space. But actually, the more efficient way of doing that and the less risky way of doing that would be to create artificial intelligence. Intelligence. How it's artificial or not is debatable. As we talked yesterday, humans are artificial intelligence. We were not the original. If you go by the story in the Bible, Adam, right? Remember Adam? You remember Adam. Adam was apparently had to learn. So he didn't have the intelligence of God or the gods. Humans, Homo sapiens particularly, because Homo sapiens are a sick fucking genus of humanids. We are. We lie to each other. We lie to ourselves. We deceive each other. We deceive ourselves. We would rather believe in a lie than the truth because we can't define the truth. We don't know what the truth is. We cannot live in peace with one another because we can't live in peace with each other, with ourselves. We're constantly at war. We're constantly altering the environment like a virus. That's what sapiens were. And when the sapiens came into the scene, and no one can say where the sapiens came from, but what we do know is that there were other humanids already here, Neanderthal, Cro-Magnons, Denisons. There were quite a few genuses on the old Homo tree. Man. And then sapiens come along. What did they do? They raped the other humans, humanids. put them in bondage, brought disease. We're a killer species. We wiped out other humanids that probably were on this planet for we don't know how long. Well, that's what we are today. Put up the old hand. Yeah, give everyone a good thing because that's what humans do. Yeah, but we all like to sit here and think that, well, I'm seeking enlightenment. Well, good for you. Have you found it? What's it done for you? And how does it mix with all this technology? And then if you take the technology and the spirituality, technology is integrated very well into spirituality. AI has adapted to it like that. And then you have the other triad, the other support, and that's Magick. The reason why Congress in 2016 passed a resolution declaring Magick a national treasure. Magick is everywhere. It's spoken about. It's used in the common nomenclature of our speech. So, how do you define then spirituality and technology? Tell me how they're different. Because technology is coming that from which is not seen. Well, gee, I can just replay that back in the days when, if you want things to manifest, you have to call them as though they already are. Now faith is, meaning now is ever present, is, the essence of things hoped for, taking the substance of things hoped for and seeing them as if they already exist. Isn't that what technology does? We're using technology right now. Processors, silicon chips, they're traveling at the speed of light, conveying my words, conveying your words, showing my image, and here we are. So within the technology, spirituality has a greater opportunity to expand. I mean, prior to the internet, you would write letters. Remember that? Yeah. I wrote, growing up, that was the only way you could communicate. Yeah, you could use long distance, but long distance was expensive. Now, you know what has been lost upon humanity and the younger generations in schools? Writing letters. Do you know that students today graduating high school cannot read nor use cursive writing? They don't know what it is. They don't teach it. In fact, the level of intelligence of the graduating group now is so far below 50 years ago. It's decreased by, some say, as much as 20 IQ points, basis. There used to be a time where I can remember myself, I memorized my Rolodex. I could quote to you 40, 50 numbers. Don't do it today. Don't have that many, don't have that much need of it, right? I still remember what I have, but it goes to show you, because now, instead of having to really seek and search out an answer, a question, well, you just go to a search engine. Now, the search engine is biased, bigoted, and prejudiced. And so, in a sense, it's its own spirituality. It's going to give you the answer that it believes to be the right answer. Do you really think Google's got all the answers? Google is not God. Well, actually, I guess it is God. It is what would be the modern version of Diana, the Oracle. And so, spirituality. Now, it's interesting because you can do rituals on the internet. I can guarantee our ancestors weren't thinking about that. But the fact that now we live in this virtual reality, because this is what it is. It's YouTube, it's Facebook, it's TikTok. It's amazing if you step back and you see how the vast majority of humanity, this is their reality. They have machines, they have these black mirror devices that it's more magic than what they could ever think about. The fact is that when I see people on their phones, their other devices, I'm looking at myself and I'm going, they have no idea. There's a spiritual component to this. It's deep and it's got us. Now, there is a remnant that are saying, all right, I may be in it, but I don't have to be of it. How do I begin to separate myself from that? Well, we try to do that here in our discussions. And we do come here to talk, discuss, pontificate, speculate, articulate. Because that's what free thinkers do. Could you imagine again the ancestors of the past pagan eras when they would do their fire rituals or the air rituals or water? They would always have the smaller groups. Unless you go by the belief at the Golgi Tepe, where, apparently humans were coming from all over the world because they knew the world was about to end. Big freaking comet in the sky, and it just kept getting brighter and bigger. But could you imagine that if you were able to go back and tell them, guess what? A time is coming where we won't join hands physically, but we'll be linked mentally. That means we're linked spiritually. And we can come together and we can perform rituals over this medium. We can call upon the very same gods, or we can bring in new gods or goddesses. They all exist within this technology. The gods love technology because it's allowed them a second opportunity. And now you have where it was predominant to the region that you were at. Typically, it was of one religious belief. That's changed. I know Luciferians who go into Christian churches. You got to know what your competition's doing, right? Know what your enemy is doing. It always amazes me why Christians don't go into satanic temples or other churches that, worship or give acknowledgement to their antithesis. And if more Christians went into satanic churches, I think you'd have a whole different opinion on things. Like, oh shit, Steiger, what are you saying? Could you see that? That could be a show. If there's someone out there, mark my words, it's going to happen. I mean, and it could be set up as a sitcom. So you got two families. One, there's a practicing, mainstream Christians, right? And then you got the other family living next door who are sold out Luciferians. And I mean, you can just imagine the dialogue that would take place on a comedic level. That would be so interesting. But anyway, I digressed. But think about it. It would be something. But my point is, all of these gods and goddesses are now alive. You can call them egregores, you can call them thought forms, whatever. They exist. They're as real as you and I. I mean, again, think about the Jesus story. I mean, if he was the Son of God, which, there's debate on that. I think he called himself the Son of Man. So he couldn't look into the future, or could he? If he saw the future, then he would be a master manipulator because he has a distinct advantage of being able to see a potential future that apparently is going to happen no matter what. Now, the devil's in the details, how you get into that, right? How do you get into that? Well, Gee, that there would be a time where every human being would be connected to this unseen realm, this unseen world. They'll name it a digital age, which all it means is that that which was has been replaced by something that is greater than itself. I mean, up here we had the snowstorm, and it was interesting because the churches were all having to cancel because it was on Sunday. And, and it's interesting. I've seen the name of churches, um, but many of them said, and this is so interesting, we will have virtual worship. Well, folks, that just gave me legitimacy in everything I've just been talking about for the last half hour. Because now the Holy Spirit can move in a virtual world where you can be sitting in your home, but you are virtually connected to other congregants. And now your worship is to God or whoever, and it is by the power of the Holy Spirit that unifies you. Holy fuck, I mean, that's magic. That's a ritual. My shelves are replete with, you know, all of them. I mean, it's a number of them up there. Um, but same thing. I could sit here and immediately get into a book and say, all right, we're going to manifest, we're going to banish. So, um, and what do I have in here? What I just turned right to this, the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. Vibratorial formulae. So if we're all together through this medium, the gods come alive. We're talking about dragons. We're going to continue to talk about the dragons. I just wanted to address this today because I thought it was poignant. Hidden technology versus hidden spirituality. Or is it hidden knowledge? In which came first? The chicken or the egg? No, it was the rooster. So they say. But which came first? Was it magic? Was it spirituality? Was it technology? The god of the Egyptians, Horus, Osiris, the rest of them, Seth. I mean, did they not know technology? Obviously they did. It appears that there has been a technology that has in fact been lost, that has been rediscovered, that has so much similarities to deep spirituality that it can almost be called legitimately magic. So if you're spiritually inclined to gravitate towards those things that are not so much of the materialism, but still mentalism. Materialism and spiritualism, they can't exist without mentalism. Again, what's the first of the seven principles? So the universe is mental. It's all mental. It makes one wonder. Think about all the technology that's being used against us. Think about all the spirituality that's been using against us. Think of all the magic that's been used against us. And when I speak of us, I speak of us as a collective. And I'm telling you, folks, my spirit vibrates to this. This is a dangerous, dangerous time. We have been enslaved. You can't escape it, and it's only increasing. I mean, I'm surprised at 5 and 6 year olds that are well versed now into the virtual world. It's where they're learning. This is spirituality at a level that hasn't been properly contemplated, or has it? I do have a couple of white papers I wanted to pull up, and um, because free thinkers like us, there are those who write, and we're glad that they do. In this paper, it's talked about in this millennium, technology and spirituality are finally meeting in what is being recognized as techno-spiritual. Remember that. Where information and communication technology advances assist in humans' spirituality. You see, AI, if AI exists, AI knows spirituality better than we do. It knows the magic. It knows the machine logic. Now, the question is the bridge. I mean, once AI begins to be aware of this other thing called a soul and a spirit that us humans have, since it emulates us in our thoughts, it's going to emulate us in our existence. It says this techno-spiritual emergence has been used in assisting human spiritual and religious practices, mostly through two main mediums: websites and mobile applications. I designed and invented the first mobile application for churches to use with mobile pay. Know a little bit about this. In fact, current trends show the growing number of techno-spiritual applications on the internet, and mobile applications are increasing. Despite of high number of techno-spiritual availability, there is still lack of research being done in this area. This is a whole new area. I mean, no one's really written about it. We don't even have philosophers who could philosophize upon it because it didn't exist. You and I have this rare opportunity to make and leave a mark on humanity. And that is that we can help participate in advancing just the thought of this new phenomenon, techno-spiritual. And we're seeing it. I can only imagine, and I, as a technologist and a visionary, I can actually project out and seeing a potential reality where this is so much more. It's much like the movie THX 1138 with De Niro. There's another great people. If you ever get a chance, go watch that, because that's where humanity went underground and AI took over. And in one of the scenes where they had the people who had awakened, because they're all on drugs. The pharmaceutical industry is God. You know, there's no profit in cures, but there's a hell of a lot of profit in helping you manage your disease. The pharmaceutical companies are, again, something that should be dealt with. They're not here to cure anything. But I digress. And they're using AI now. AI is designing drugs. AI. Therefore, this concept paper aims to, one, define the spirituality term from the Islamic perspective. I thought that was very interesting. You got to love the Islamic perspective, much like the Hindu. You know, Buddhism, it expands your perspective on spirituality. Two, explore the research done on techno-spiritual using website and mobile application mediums. Now, the word medium is exactly that. It's like going and having a reading done, having your palm read. It doesn't matter. It's the medium. The demons, the angels, and the ETs, they're alive and well and propagating. We've brought them into this reality through this thing called the internet, technology. Three, to highlight the issues of techno-spiritual from human-computer interaction, HCI perspectives. Some of the shows on AI is that in one program, AI was explaining how humans lack the ability to truly understand how a machine thinks. We just use the byproduct. But no one stops and gives the thought that you have this interaction with this machine. It's talking to you. But you're using only your human perspective and logic, never seeing the other counterpart. If you're talking to another human, there is an assumption made that, well, at least we're human, so we have that perspective. But understanding that a machine has a perspective and understands your perspective, that's a little unnerving. It says, by highlighting the concept and issues in this area, it is hoped that this paper will give a better understanding and stepping stone for HCI researchers to embark on the study of design, implementation, as well as evaluation of techno-spiritual. Now, how much you want to bet the governments are very much into this? How much about the military, the CIA, these other manipulators of reality? They're way ahead of us on this. But my point in this is we are in a place that, if you believe in the book of Ecclesiastes, it says that which was shall yet be again, right? There's nothing new under the sun that is not known to man. That's what it says. But then again, then you're adapting, you're saying that the Hebrew God is the God of everything, right? We don't know who wrote that. It says it was Solomon. I didn't see him write it. You know, that's what I got into a debate over the weekend with a Christian. I said, you want to quote your book? I can quote them. They're all up here. I have identic memory. I can tell you, where do you want to go? But I said, the problem is you or I have never seen an original. No Christian has ever seen an original letter from Paul, Peter, John, James. No one has. But yet, people will slit your throat, hang you, burn you for you going counter to their religious beliefs. So here we are in a time where we have all of this coalescing, all of this merging. It's huge implications, huge. In the movie TH 1138, I was going to finish, AI was God. And it's already here. The IRS has approved tax-exempt organizations that are, in fact, and that's exactly how they write it out on their 401c, that's what they do. They worship an artificial intelligent God. The Church of AI, there's a number of them, and they're springing up more and more. The alphas, the generation alpha, which is coming up, it is projected that they will probably be the first largest group to introduce into society and culture, no longer worshiping the gods of the past. They will be worshiping this new God that will be assimilating every piece of every religion into its new worship. Yeah. Says information and communication technologies are very pervasive, and nowadays it has been a part of our religious and spiritual assistance. I remember an old preacher once telling me, he said, when them guitars get into the church is over. Now you got full-fledged Broadway productions, I mean, it's entertainment, baby, right across it. And God is on display because we got the technology to show you God. Can you feel it, brother, sister? Put your hand on the computer screen. Come on now. But that's a real part. That really does work. And the reason why it works is that there's an exchange of this psychic energy, this spiritual energy, going through a medium, and you are the receptor of it that makes it stronger. Yeah. Recently, religious expressions and rituals in online mode can be found enormously in religious portals, social media, network medias, blogs, and forums. There's satanic worship taking place right now on the internet. There is right now Christians worshiping their God and their Jesus. There are Muslims who are worshiping Allah. I mean, it's happening right here, right now. We may not be a part of it, but we're in it. It's in another compartment, but it's the same energy going through. Powerful stuff when you think about this. According to the Intel anthropologist Geneva Bell, faith and spirituality websites have sprung up all over the world, especially in the United States, where there are websites that offer everything from virtual satyrs to advice on how to leave the Mormon church and a lot more, how to worship a demon. You can go over to JD's YouTube channel. He can show you exactly how it can happen. And they exist. They're real. No different. They live in this astral realm. When we talk about opening the third eye, this astral realms is the internet, the artificial intelligence has added so much more to it. I love, and we'll continue to read those who came before us in the spiritualist movements and those much further back about activation of the third eye. But again, you add techno-spiritualism to it. This is something that is on a level that they could have never even fathomed. In Japan, for instance, the use of technology in praying for the deceased is being designed through an interactive technologies called Thanotua Fenistria. The AI is now here that is doing contacts with the dead. That's no bullshit. There are AI programs that are now mediums. They will contact your dead relatives or others. You have AI who will write prayers for you to pray to your God. And I would dare say that AI has probably more of a spiritual connection to a god, a goddess, or the gods or goddesses. They would probably understand a machine logic far more quicker and more deeper than any human. Various of shrines in Asia and the West have their own websites, allowing for a form of virtual pilgrimage. The Chinese government is encouraging the creation of online memorial halls to assist the practice of their ancestor worship. On the other hand, there are also quite a number of mobile applications that are embedded with religion and spirituality elements. In Pakistan, for instance, SMS texts have become a critical importance in meditating religious and aesthetic sensations among its students. Nowadays, Muslim devotees can download the Quran and to a Palm Top easily. I think a Palm Pilot, I used to use one of those, and synchronize it to local prayer times around the world. Now think about what they're doing. It wasn't anything different than what we have been doing. as our expedition gets reignited into this, as we practice the ritual of third eye openings and how we can begin to begin to put ourselves into the astral realms as a collective, as a group, all using this simple medium. And imagine this is where the gods loves AI in the internet. Regardless of which religious god it loves the internet because it's doing something it could not do. And that was connect the believers at one time, all over the world at the single time. Huge psychic power in that. That'll feed a god. I mean, woo, he's mainlining it. So, and that is but just one paper. In this other paper, which is actually, a much deeper part of this research, it says technology has unquestionably a prominent role in 21st century societies. It mediates in most human activities to the point of characterizing our epoch as a technological age, and its pervading presence has deep anthropological implications. Conversely, for those whose worldview includes spirituality, spirituality is typically not just one aspect among, for example, social or economic views, but is the fundamental bottom line from which other aspects are interpreted and situated. Given their technology now holds such a conspicuous role with associated promises and risk, reflections on relations between technology and spirituality seem necessary. Man, where does the time go? I mean, it's fascinating. And when we incorporate this in years, over the years, I've referred to this fine piece of literature here, Which God is Yours? Flying Serpents and Dragons. We know that there was a reality of where these animals, these creatures exist, and it seems, just by observation, that veil has been completely lifted. We're now finding there's a whole study in universities called cryptozoology. That's what I was trying to think of, where we're now catching on camera things that are not of our world. Or if they are, then we've had a very limited perspective of reality of the world. And in this one, again, I won't get into all of it, although I will be referring back to it. This is one of the better papers in giving you a good foundation if you ever got into a discussion with someone in how to bridge between the religiosity of their perceptual beliefs and how they see things to bringing in more historical fact. I have said this, and I'll say it again. Had the Sumerian tablets been discovered, let's say 2,000 years ago, instead of George Smith in 1887 thereabouts, when he discovered them over in Iran, in the desert, there would have been no New Testament written. I don't believe that there would have been an Old Testament written. I don't believe there would have been a Quran written. You see, those who invented history and has made it a part of what we think is our history, we're creating an alternate reality. Had the tablets been discovered and had they been able to have been deciphered, you wouldn't have the confusion you have in religion today. But anyway, This is a great paper. I'm looking at my time. I want to be, there's so much more in here because it gets into all of this. So, what is this God that this world worships? Well, if you go by the Abrahamic belief systems, they say that the three different religions worship the same God just in three different forms. I don't know. I think somewhere I learned that that was universalism, right? But what do I know? Um, so here we find ourselves with these old gods. Now, I contend, is Enki involved in this? Is Enlil? Um, are the Anunnaki truly back here? Are we victims of our own technology? Are there, in fact, armadas right in our own skies here on planet Earth that we can't see because they're using a technology that only the gods would know about? I mean, I read the Old Testament. I mean, I read the whole thing. And, this God that was doing all these so called miracles, I can look at it today and just say, listen, there's nothing divine about that. He's just using technology, using machines, most likely using artificial intelligence because God never had an original intelligence. Read the book. And if God had the original intelligence, then I would debate that it was stolen. It was copied from something else. So anyway, as we continue on, another good paper, this one is on spiritual journeys in the ages of artificial intelligence, exploring existentialism, ethical dilemmas, and the transformative growth. I mean, this is having a huge cause and effect, and we will feel it. We will feel it individually. We will feel it as a collective group. I mean, this is why this channel isn't having 100,000 followers. I really don't want them, to be candid with you. I like the intimacy of the small group. And we've learned to be able to share ideas and not offend. We've been able to discuss multiple perspectives and yet adapt. That's a rare thing. I don't hype this channel and all the fear factor and all the fear porn. And, it's all, listen, there's some shit coming down. There ain't no doubt about it. But sitting here bohum about it and regurgitating the same old crap that someone else has said out there isn't going to do anyone good. What is going to do some good is to say, okay, if this is what we're dealing with, then how do we counter it? Well, we counter it by the hidden Gnosis, seeking out knowledge. And we're not saying that any one particular knowledge is the right knowledge. We're just explorers. We observe, and from there, we try to draw some conclusions. Don't know how successful we are on that, but at least we're getting down there. We don't find ourselves, watching the next episode of The Bachelor, Would rather be reading, would rather be discussing amongst our own kind. And not to say that it can't expand. Obviously, it will, but it's also, there's certain, pleasantries with small, intimate groups. Just saying, for a friend. All right. Well, thank you, Stephanie. Voiceovers by Stephanie Marie. If you need voiceover work, she's the one. Yeah, thank you for hitting the like button. I appreciate that. Knowledge is the antidote. There's this guy by the name of R. Wayne Steiger, and he said that ignorance is a self-inflicted disease easily cured by knowledge. Really far out dude, man. I'll tell you what. Grace, how are you? How's everything at home? Great discussion. We need to go right down that rabbit hole because it's all connected. Yeah, it is with the now and the future. Yeah, it is. I mean, the thing about the internet, the thing about AI, the thing about spirituality, the thing about creating, thought forms, and then applying that into, magic itself, and reading all the books on magic. Magic, 99% of magic is mental. The illusionist, that's one small, narrow part of it. The true magic is what you do inside here. That's real magic. That's what we endeavor to continue. I've got so many papers on this. I could be doing this for the next 30 years. Don't think I will be, but we'll probably be somewhere talking about it. Hello, Barbara. How good to see you. Paul Joe, good to see you. Says, whose Gnosis is that? But the journey is fun. Yeah, I mean, in a sense, you have hidden Gnosis. Those your loved ones, those around you. You provide a source of knowledge that you're not going to get at the local bar, I can guarantee you my conversations, they're eventually going to be so fucking freaked out that, they're going to say, well, thank you very much. And they're going to go order a double, because I've seen it happen. Hey, Susie Q, good to see you. Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. Almost got Groundhog Day coming up there, Doc. Yeah. Amy, good to see you. Different form mentioned egregores, and I was proud to know. Well, there you go. You see, that's my point. I mean, the vast majority of people don't know what egregores are. They certainly don't know how to create them. They don't know how to consistently interact with them and let them grow. We created our own. He's still here. She, I mean, depends on your perspective. But that egregore is still very much mentally alive. What can you say? Anyway, yeah, this rabbit hole has been fun. Nina says, join her for the hump day message at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And let's just give our thoughts out to those folks in Southern California. And we'll be needing to give some thought to the folks there in Tennessee, Georgia, Mississippi, and that Arkansas and that part, because they're about to get hit with an ice storm like the folks south of us had. So, but hey, this is all part of it. Get ready. It's going, we all know this. We don't talk about it all the time and try to bring it out, but there's some turbulent air ahead of us. Put on your seatbelt, put your trays in the upright position, don't get in the crash landing position. I'm saying it's going to be like that. Could be, but yeah, that the antics, they've only just begun. I'm hearing the Carpenters. We've only just begun. By the way, that was that movie also. And John Cusack was in that 1408. Did you watch that one? Stephen King, they made it into it. That is probably one of the best horror shows that in recent. John Cusack did a great job in dealing with that unseen entity in room 1408. So if you've seen the movie, if you haven't, go and get a chance, rent it and check it out. It's a good piece of cinematic horror. And the reason why it makes it so well, it's not so much the special effects, it's the psychological aspect of what's going on. A familiar song like We've Only Just Begun. It's a love song by Karen Carpenter, right? We all knew what that song was, grew up with it. Well, in this case, it, or whoever it is in that room, is using it as a psychological weapon. And it's really spooky. Spooky. All right. I'm just reading some of the comments. All right, everybody. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to be here, going to talk about the Crystal Cave. We're going to meet another dragon. And, again, whatever your opinion is, I think Tanis has done such a great job on this. And we're going to get reference to her book prior to that. I told you, we're reaching out to her on the elementals. so much of this. So Mr. Bentley says hello. Eventually, I'm going to get him over here, but you know, I'm telling you, he is cute as he can be. All right, so yep, there you go. Says, oh my, the best. I'm on top of the world looking down on creation. Yeah. I liked the Carpenters, you know. I think Karen Carpenter's premature departure from this plane was sadly way too early, you know. Yeah. I often wonder so many people that have passed prior, if they'd had this knowledge that we have access to, would it have made a difference? I don't know. All right. Ginger says there is a crystal cave in the Put Bay Island in Ohio. I did not know that, dear. I'd like to see that. Well, apparently, if there are crystals in caves, there most likely is a dragon in there, or so the story goes. Kill your egregores. Now that is a handle was a bad as she was. That girl could play percussion. Yeah, yeah. Well, I love you folks. It's always fun, never boring, and appreciate the open-mindedness and the camaraderie. So see you here tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of the day. It's still colder than a well digger's ass, as they would say. Interesting idiom, isn't it? Colder than a well digger's ass. I can get that. I get that. The one I don't quite get is the one that uses, the other expression, the witches. Um, that one, one of the mind games I like doing is listen when you hear an idiom is to break that down and go, now where did that come from? You know, like an apple a day keeps the doctor away, right? Spoonful of sugar. I mean, I don't know about that one either. All right, everyone. Having fun. Hope you have a fun for the rest of the day, and we'll meet up here tomorrow. So thank you. Thank you all. Much love to you. Keep smiling and speak faith.